But what I love the absolutes most is the programs are personalised to each client's current health conditions, their current goals and their current lifestyle, rather than just using, a cookie cutter approach. And that's really about focusing on those achievable habits and long-term changes, which we love. Hello and welcome to the Eat, Live and Move podcast by Miyagi, a space where we bring you the latest science-backed conversations, expert insights, and practical tips relating to all things health and wellness. I'm Dr. Gina Cleo, your personal habit change expert.
And hi, I'm Dr. Ross Walker. I've been a cardiologist for 40 years and I'm a well-known preventative health expert.
Together with our 60 plus years of collective experience, we're on a mission to help you to improve your health and transform your habits so you can eat, live, and move better one episode at a time without the fluff or the fads. We are so excited to be here with you today for our very first podcast. We're going to take you through a bit of a journey to learn a bit more about us, your co-hosts, who we are, as well as who Miyagi is, and how we came to partner with this amazing brand. We're also going to tell you a bit about the podcast and what you can expect from us each week. So let's dive in. Ross, I would love to start with you. Can you start off by telling the listeners a little bit about you, who you are, and about your career?
Yeah, I've been a practicing cardiologist now for around 40 years. And for the first 20 years of my career, I practiced pretty standard cardiology. But then I started to realize through a whole lot of experiences that I'll talk about in future podcasts, that really the best treatment of heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, any disease you want to talk about is not to get them in the first place. It's called prevention. And I just realized the vital importance of prevention. So I've really focused, especially over the last 20 years, on the vital aspects of preventative health. And that's really been the major driving force in my career is prevention. I've written 7 books on the subject. I have a national radio show, and I talk about all this sort of stuff all the time. And I think this is a really great format to get that very important message aside.
My Lord, Ross, I'd just like to know, I've written 1 book and I thought that was an amazing feat. You've done 7 books. What possessed you to write 7 books? And what was that like for you?
I think it's probably abject lunacy possessed me to do it. I just like the exercise because if you have to write books about anything, you have to know the subject very well, research it. And the more you research, the more you know. And I find learning one of the most exciting things on the planet. I've always loved learning from a child, from being a young child. And I think learning's fantastic. So the 7 books were just flowing. I've still got about 5 books in my head that I'm thinking about writing at the moment.
I'll just leave the room now, I think. No, I think that's incredible. And I'm with you on the learning thing. I'm a super geek. I love learning. I'm that person on the beach sitting with my neuroscience textbook, learning about human behavior and behavior change. And, that's partly why I wanted to partner with Miyagi as well. Is they've got such a phenomenal coaching program and their values really align. And I just think it's a really awesome and global partnership. And I think as well that the habit change content that I can bring is beautiful synergy with all the evidence-based work that they're already doing.
Yeah, no, I have no doubt. And the reason I wanted to partner with Miyagi when I was approached was because in my own practice, because I spend a lot of time with people, I might see 10 or 15 patients a day. So you're affecting 10 or 15 people. But when you can start affecting thousands of people with the preventative health message, it's much more powerful. So although I really enjoy the practice of medicine and I find it very gratifying, and I love the relationships I've had with my patients over many years, I think it's very exciting to be able to have this message go to so many people. And that's why I'm here with Miyagi. That's why I'm delighted to be working with you as well.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm so with you on that. That's why I really love training coaches in the space of habit change so that they can really just scale the message and and the content. And for many of you listeners, if you are wondering who the heck is Miyagi, well, let me tell you. Miyagi is one of Australia's leading health and wellness companies in Australia that offers a range of online programs to help people basically improve their health, lose weight, and reduce the risks of chronic disease. The programs are based on the latest scientific research and they target a number of health conditions. The primary ones are health disease, type 2 diabetes, weight management, gut health, menopause, and many more. And the programs are designed by Dr. Ross as Miyagi's Chief Medical Officer, myself as the Chief Behavioural Scientist, in collaboration with an awesome team of expert dietitians. And the goal really is to help people not only transform their health, but to change their habits so that they can make real changes that last long term. We're all about long term and without giving up the foods that they love the most, because no one wants to give up the foods we love the most, or turning to crazy workouts or pills or potions. And what I love about the programs is the one-on-one support that the members get with an accredited practicing dietitian. We know how important that support and that accountability is. Actually, research shows that having that kind of accountability can double our chance of success. So it's such a no-brainer. They also get a bunch of supportive tools to help to keep them on the path of success, like the app to track their goals, watch webinars, try new recipes, and participate in our live sessions with you and I, Ross, where people get to ask us questions and we get to answer them live. But what I love the absolutes most is the programs are personalized to each client's current health conditions, their current goals, and their current lifestyle, rather than just using, a cookie cutter approach. And that's really about focusing on those achievable habits and long-term changes, which we love. Ross, what would you say you love most about Miyagi?
Well, I like the fact that we're targeting the diseases that are killing people. And we have to look at that. We've had so much said over the past 3 years about the COVID crisis, the coronavirus. But I said, this was an interesting comment I made on Channel 7 at the start of the pandemic. If people are that concerned about their health and well-being, stop stockpiling toilet paper, stockpile fruit and vegetables and exercise equipment, because one person dies every 20 minutes in this country from cardiovascular disease. And that's what our Heart Smart program is all about, is reducing the carnage from cardiovascular disease. Obesity is on the rise. We have 70% of Australian males, 50% of Australian females either overweight or obese. And people are really struggling to maintain a healthy weight. But I've got to say, one of the points we'll be making as time goes on, I prefer people to get the whole weight story out of their head, focus more on good quality eating and less of it, and on having a regular exercise habit, and also move, and more movement. Stop sitting down all the time, which so many people, sitting is the new smoking. And also, 8% of people living in Australia and other countries around the world now, 8 to 10%, are type 2 diabetics. And we need to look at the diabetic epidemic around the world. One of my colleagues, Professor Phil Barter, who's one of the world experts in cholesterol, said the true pandemic of the 21st century is diabesity, the combination of diabetes and obesity. So we'll be talking about what you can do about that. Now, I'm also, weirdly, I don't really know why, but I am the chairman of the Gut Foundation. So I've been on the board of the Gut Foundation for a number of years. And we've got to see that things like bowel cancer are on the rise. In fact, the rates of bowel cancer in people below the age of 50 have doubled over the past 20, 30 years. And we've got to look at the reasons for that as well, what we can do about it. So despite billions of dollars being spent each and every year on diets, shakes, potions, pills, we're still very, very unhealthy as a society. And clearly these things aren't working. And I believe in Miyagi, we have the solutions to these issues. And I think it's really important we stop thinking about fad diets or shakes or anything else. We actually want to help people improve their health by setting small, realistic goals and changing their habits, which is where you're an absolute expert in all of this, Gina. So it's just the last 3.5 years, for example, Miyagi's helped over 10,000 people achieve their goals. And our team has tripled, which is just incredible. It doesn't stop there. We want to keep going. We want to extend our research, or we want to extend our reach to even more people, inspire people all over the world. And I think we can do that from our a country of 25 million people, but I think we can affect everybody throughout the world who really needs these programs. And who needs these programs? I think if you're over 20, you need these programs.
That's amazing, Rob. I love your passion. I love listening to you talk. I love hearing your heart, because you can see every time you and I speak, or I hear you speaking on any platform, how passionate you are about helping people. And it's just such an honor to work with you. And I really couldn't agree with you more about all the reasons we've partnered with Miyagi. And I couldn't agree more with you, Ross. And I know that I speak on behalf of both of us and the team at Miyagi that we are so excited to bring you this podcast each week, where we're going to unpack the latest research and discover what it means to our health. We're going to discuss trending topics. We're going to share our experience that we've had with our clients and share what works and what doesn't when it comes to health and habit change. And of course, we will always be sharing practical tips on how to eat, live, and move better without giving up the things you love.
Really important point I want everyone to take on here, and we'll be talking about this a lot over the next however many years we do these podcasts. The 5 keys of being healthy. I'm not going to go through them now. We'll talk about them on another podcast. But I say to my patients, and I say to anyone who listens to my show or anything else, everybody's medical therapy should be the 80-10-10 rule. 80% of the 5 keys of being healthy. 4 times more powerful than anything a doctor can suggest, any pill or potion you can swallow. The 10% is the appropriate use of pharmaceutical drugs if you need them, and many people don't. And the other 10% is the appropriate use of evidence-based supplements. But always focus on where it's most important, which are those 5 keys of being healthy.
Oh, you're a wealth of knowledge. Thank you so much, Dr. Ross. Well, that brings us to the end of our very first podcast episode of Eat, Live, and Move Well with Miyagi. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed getting to know Dr. Ross and myself and a little bit about our podcast and what's to come. If you're keen to learn more about how you can eat, live, and move better with Miyagi, join us next week as Dr. Ross takes us on a journey about his career as a cardiologist and his focus on preventative health. He's also going to share a bit more about his 5 keys to optimal health, which he has shared all over the world and in a number of his best-selling books. So you don't want to miss out on this one. And remember, whatever platform you're listening on today, please subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss out when a new episode drops. That's all from us. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.